Bruno Police Department received numerous 911 calls regarding gunshots at the YouTube campus located on Cherry Avenue in our city.
Can you come over here? Aghdam's father handed out a statement to reporters saying, "Our family would like to express their utmost regret and sorrow for what happened to innocent victims."
When it comes to freedom of speech, do you think that Iran is better than USA or USA is better than Iran? All videos that used to get many views stopped getting views. So this is because I'm being filtered.
Hello, and welcome back to Curl Gator Mysteries. If you're new here, welcome to you too. Today we're going to be talking about a shooting that happened a few years ago. I believe this was the only attack to ever happen at YouTube headquarters, and it was spearheaded by a YouTuber who was also a vegan activist on their YouTube channel, as well as kind of this quirky, weird influencer person. Pretty difficult to describe their content, but don't worry, you will see a decent amount of it throughout this video, and you'll kind of get an idea of what she made. Now, today's culprit was a 38-year-old Iranian American named Nasim Aghdam, and she had some issues with YouTube, a bone to pick with them really, because during her time as a content creator, she amassed hundreds of thousands of views easily all the time. She was getting into the millions, and she was getting paid pennies for hundreds of thousands of views. And she thought that YouTube had specifically singled her out and was purposefully discriminating against her and making it so that she couldn't make money. However, at this time, there were a lot of people that were seeing drops in revenue on YouTube because of changes to the ad revenue policies, and a lot of videos just simply weren't getting monetized for a plethora of different reasons, which seems to be what was happening to Nasim at this time. With that said, this personal attack invoked some sort of primal need within her to cause harm to the people that she deemed responsible for her difficulties. So on April 3rd, 2018, at approximately 12:46 p.m., she went to the YouTube headquarters, sneaking in through an exterior parking garage, and proceeded to shoot at 3 employees, injuring all 3 of them, and one of them critically. They all survived, but after this shooting, she promptly ended herself.
At 12:46 p.m. this afternoon, San Bruno Police Department received numerous 911 calls regarding gunshots at the YouTube campus located on Cherry Avenue in our city. San Bruno Police arrived on scene at 12:48. And immediately began a search for a possible shooter or suspect. Upon arrival, officers encountered numerous employees fleeing from the building. It was very chaotic, as you can imagine. We did encounter one victim with an apparent gunshot wound towards the front of the business as we arrived. Several minutes later, while conducting a search of the premises, officers located a second individual with a gunshot wound that appears to may have been self-inflicted. We are still working on confirming that. 2 additional victims were located several minutes later at an adjacent business.
Now, there is a lot to Nasim. She was a very complex person. As I mentioned previously, she was a vegan activist, and she even participated in a protest with PETA against the use of pigs in the United States Marine Corps training procedures for victims of trauma.
The animal rights activist was photographed at a PETA protest in San Diego in 2009. She held a fake dagger and painted blood on her face.
Now, I won't get into the weeds of her protests really, but of all the things to protest in the realm of animal cruelty, this one seemed quite questionable at best. Not to mention protesting with PETA, who is notoriously known for killing thousands of animals every single year.
Okay, well, I like that burger and I choose to eat it. Do you have a problem? Would you outlaw me eating it?
You know, I think if people could see the way that animals suffer in slaughterhouses and on factory farms, they would never eat a burger again. Do you believe in outlawing cruelty to animals?
By PETA,
do you think that we should
It's a simple yes or no question. Would you outlaw?
A simple yes or no question. Should we outlaw cruelty to dogs? Should you
I'm
be
asking
able
the question. I'm the
should
host.
you be able to slash a dog's throat and eat him on a bun like a burger?
More Hannity, straight ahead.
For the time being, we're going to get a little bit more acquainted with Nasim and her content and her motivation for attacking YouTube.
YouTube shooter Nasim Aghdam was widely known on Iranian social media as Nasim Sabs. which means Green Nasim, because of her advocacy for animal rights, healthy living, and veganism. Her specific style of videos made her relatively famous among Iran's growing YouTube and Instagram influencers. For instance, one showing a rabbit where she explains the differences between vegetarianism and being vegan. In another video, she explains the benefits of eating a papaya. One of her most well-known videos here is one where she is wearing a revealing purple dress. Don't believe what you see is a message appearing in the video screen.
I'm being discriminated and filtered on YouTube, and I'm not the only one. And if you go and check my videos, you see that my new videos hardly get views.
She also criticizes YouTube and makes a physical protest a year ago by going on the streets, posting what claims to be a picture of herself, holding up a sign saying YouTube dictatorship. And then there is a video that gives more insight, if you will, in the life of Mrs. Aghdam. She had fled her native Iran decades ago. In that video, she explains that even though she was a member of the Baha'i faith, which is a persecuted faith in Iran, she doesn't really like life in the United States. And she literally says, in Iran, they kill you by axe, but in the United States, they kill you with cotton, an Iranian expression for saying that she is dying a slow death in the United States.
When it comes to freedom of speech, do you think that Iran is better than USA or USA is better than Iran?
She made a decent amount of videos talking ill of the United States, talking ill of people that eat meat, and especially talking ill of YouTube. And we'll actually get to a video where she is explicitly threatening YouTube, saying that it's kind of a warning that she's pretty much going to come after them. This was the last video that she made about YouTube. I think the last video she made in general before she went and committed this atrocity. Fortunately, nobody besides her was killed in this incident. She took her own life, obviously. There are also instances where people questioned her mental sanity, and she actually pulled a no you and uno reversal and said that the people that were questioning her were actually the mentally ill, which is an interesting thing because she is the one that went and committed an atrocity because she wasn't getting enough views, enough revenue on YouTube.
He grew disillusioned with America. If you are superficial, you will think it is heaven here, she said. You will see that it is worse than Iran.
Life's a game, wanna play.
Some viewers who watched her bizarre videos questioned her sanity. In response, she posted, I don't have any special mental or physical disease, but I live on a planet filled with disease, perversions, and injustices.
I'm being discriminated and filtered on YouTube, and I'm not the only one. So recently, they also attacked my Persian channel, Nasim Aghdam. And if you go and check my videos, you see that my new videos hardly get views, and my old videos that used to get many views stopped getting views. So this is because I'm being filtered.
So this last thing that she says, which I know it's very hard to read, but she says, this is because I'm being filtered. So basically silenced by YouTube, by not being pushed out into the algorithm. You know, she blames people directly targeting her. And when she says that, this is because I'm assuming she's alluding to the idea that she is going to go and shoot up the YouTube headquarters. I think that's exactly what she meant, because that is the last video that she made before committing this atrocity. Now, her comments about the United States are interesting. She talks about how, you know, certain things that if she had done, you know, in Iran, like she would have been killed for, but in the United States, she's just dying a slow death. And I guess she somehow believes that that's worse. I'm not quite sure, but it's really interesting to couple that thinking along with the idea that she could be mentally ill, which obviously she was. Nobody just decides one day, you know what, I'm gonna go shoot up YouTube headquarters and not be mentally ill. Though that really doesn't really happen in the mind of somebody who's completely mentally sound. Either way, this was very clearly a horrible thing to do. This was a terrible crime to enact on very innocent people that had nothing to do with her being quote-unquote filtered by YouTube, when in reality, whatever was happening to her was happening to other people too. This was around that time that a lot of people weren't making as much money on YouTube because the ad system had kind of changed. They were trying to be more advertiser friendly. So basically, if you weren't making content designed for toddlers, then you weren't really making a whole lot of money on YouTube. And she saw this as a personal attack, as a lot of very narcissistic people do. They think the whole world is out to get them. And we've seen this a lot with other vegan activists, like that vegan teacher, Tosh Peterson especially, who always makes herself a victim, even when she is the one causing harm to others.
Stop assaulting me! Stop assaulting me! Don't f***ing assault me!
Get off, man.
Don't f***ing assault me!
Are you serious?
Are you f***ing serious? If you f***ing assault me, you leave me alone!
Tash,
Leave animals alone!
Tash, stop.
But anyway, that's it for this video. If you haven't seen my video on the Zizians, which is a vegan murder cult, you can watch that here on this channel. Should be right there. Anyway, thanks for watching.